This is Ziad Elder here. Good morning, guys and girls. I decided to make a video this morning. I'm going on a short spin. It's Friday. I took the day off today. Friday morning, I'm going to go on a spin because I had the week off last week. From a cycle standpoint on my training, I took the week off. After 6 weeks of intensive training, I took a week off where I back off, let my body absorb the training. And so last week was it. So this week, I'm ramping things back up. And so I rode a couple of times this week, just steady long rides. And so today is a rest day. So I took off from work and took off from everything. I'm just going to go and get myself ready for the weekend. So I decided to just use this time to make a video talking about what do you do when you're getting ready for your group ride on the weekend? First thing is make sure whatever bike it is, whether it's Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, whatever day you have, during the week before your ride, make sure whatever bike you're going to use on the weekend is working well. Let's say you took it on a ride on Tuesday or you rode on your trainer or whatever and you had a little problem with it. Make sure that problem's been addressed before Saturday. Don't show up at group rides with mechanical problems because everybody's coming to ride. They're not coming to work on your bike. Yeah, people are nice and everything, and there might be one or two people that will help you if you have a problem, but make sure that at every group ride, your bike's functioning. And really, every ride you do, even by yourself, you want to make sure your bike functions well before you go on your ride. That means when you come back from a ride, you need to make sure whatever problems you're having is addressed. I mean, think about it this way. When your car has a problem, let's say you're driving down the road, you have a flat tire. You don't leave the car there until the next morning when you're ready to go to work to get the front tire fixed, right? You fix that flat tire right away so that it's ready the next morning when you go to work or whatever it is you're going to do. It's the same thing with your bike. So if you went on a ride on Monday or whatever and you had an issue, so the shifting was off and when you come back for your ride, try to do it right away while it's fresh on your mind. Address that problem with your bike. So the next ride, your bike's ready to go. If you couldn't get to it because of other pressing issues, make sure you address it before you go to bed. So address the issues with your bike the day it happens so that the next ride, you're ready to go. But the first thing you want to do is make sure if you had a shifting problem, see, I have a stand that I use here. It's so much easier if you can afford it to get a stand because it's just a pain trying to hold the bike and mess with it. They have stands you can look on eBay or whatever. I get most of my stuff used as much as possible because I look for things before I need them. And that's another video I'm going to do. It's on my list to talk about when you buy stuff and all that. But anyway, getting your bike ready for the weekend, make sure whatever issue you're having has been addressed. Now, if you can't do it yourself, make sure you make the time to take it to the shop, your bike shop, your local bike shop, say on a Wednesday or something, and get them to get it ready. Then let's say you've gotten the bike back from the shop, check it. Make sure the problem is addressed really before you even leave the shop. Don't just pick up your bike from the shop and put it in your car to get home and just take their word for it. Let them put it on a stand and show you the problem has been addressed before you walk out of the shop. Because sometimes, depending on who worked on it, it may not be quite nailed. That's what got me into doing my own repairs. I got tired of depending on the mechanic you're going to run into that day, because it's only as good as the mechanic you run into that day. And if it's a little kid, a young kid who's cycling and working in the shop part-time, maybe he's not as experienced. There's nothing done with malice. But to the best of his ability, maybe he missed a few things and your shifting that was off may not quite be dialed in. So over the years, I pretty much became a full-fledged mechanic. I took the classes, I bought the book, mostly self-taught, but I went to the necessary class. When I used to race, my coach encouraged us to learn how the bike worked, because think about it. You're usually on country roads, quiet roads, away from mainstream. So you want to know how this thing works so that you're not stranded and you don't have to always be calling for a ride and sitting there and waiting. That was one of the incentives of learning. So there's nothing on the bicycle I can't do, but it doesn't mean that you have to learn how to overhaul bottom brackets, headset, all that stuff, because they're not a problem that often. But the basic stuff that you need to do is to make sure that your shifting is fine. You can look at your tires and make sure they don't have too many cuts. The tire that has a lot of cuts or the tread's worn down, put a new one on there. I'll make a video of what I think is best to buy your tires. Don't wait till you need a tire to go run to the bike shop. You should have spares. So make sure everything's fine and in good condition before your bike ride. So what I'm doing today is taking this bike out for a spin to make sure it functions flawlessly. Take it for a 45-minute to 1 hour ride, no more. I'm just going to spin easy gears and make sure it's functioning well before the ride tomorrow, so I don't have any surprises. And that's all you can do. And even with this, if you run over a nail or something, that's unavoidable. But don't show up with a bike that had a nagging problem and you just didn't deal with it and go on a group ride, because chances are the group ride is going to be faster than your rides. You won't have time to be messing with anything. So it's just a hassle, and it can kind of end up being a distraction for the group. And, nobody wants you out there by yourself. You have friends that will show up, you guys chat, so that they feel like, oh, I got to help this person out. So minimize the need for that by making sure your bike is in tip-top shape on every ride you do, even the rides that you do alone, because you don't want to be surprised when you're out there by yourself. You're going out to work out. You're not going out there to mess with the bike. So that's really what I wanted to address. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready and take this out. So use the week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Make sure your bike's functioning great. There shouldn't be a surprise come Friday or Friday evening as to whether your bike will be ready for the ride. You should already know. Even if you can't get out and ride on Friday because you work all day, put the bike on your trainer and make sure everything's fine. Now, if you don't have a trainer and you're really serious about getting better, you got to get a trainer. That's like number one. It's just so useful. I just cannot stress anything. It doesn't need to be very expensive. You can look on my website, veloharmony.com. I have a trainer that I use that I recommend. $3 something is a good price. Don't get a very cheap one, because then it won't be fun to ride. It'll be a hassle getting the bike in and out, and you want to use it. But a trainer is critical if you're really serious about improving. But, if you just want to go once in a while, that's okay too. But to just be stuck not knowing how your bike's functioning, because sometimes you can put the bike on the stand and it's great, but then when you get on it, something's a little off. So there's nothing like sitting on the bike and doing it. So that's one reason why I love a trainer, because sometimes I'll get up at night, I can't sleep. I get on the bike and ride for a few hours. And then I take a shower and I'm ready to sleep again. So my trainer is invaluable. It's the one thing that if it breaks, I replace immediately. But I've not had a problem with it. The one Cyclops, I use the one from Cyclops called Super Magneto Pro. It has great road feel, good mid-price machine, and I feel that value-wise, you really get your money out of it. It's an excellent trainer. But anyway, the main thing to check, that your shifting is good. You put it on the stand. If you have a stand. If you don't have a stand, then if you have a trainer, you can put on the trainer and then get on it and ride it, but you can test it during your ride. But one thing to check is to make sure your shifting's good. So I do a quick check, and I usually do this after every ride. I will make other videos that focus on what to do after every ride when you bring a bike home, because I know it's working great. Make sure all your shifting, there's no rubbing or anything in the back. Make sure your front chain ring gets up there. And this is something that you should check anytime you feel that it's off. You really shouldn't wait for Friday. And I like my bikes to be clean. I will not ride a bike dirty. So if I go after every ride, I use Simple Green. I spray it on a rag. I have a bunch of rags that I keep. I got them from Walmart. They're pretty cheap. Got a bag of it. They have a Target or Amazon. This one here, I don't recommend. You see all those little extra strings on there? They're a pain because they get in your chain when you're wiping with them. And that's a batch I am not going to buy again. And so it's being used for wiping the frame and not the chain. Much more expensive than the one I was showing you. I just got a bad batch when I ordered it. Didn't realize it would be shedding quite that much. But if you look at these two towels, this one here, see all the little extra strings hanging here. They're a pain when they get in your chain. I hate them getting in the chain, or if I'm cleaning my rollers or whatever. This literally is a towel you could wipe your face with. And usually sometimes when we go on rides, I'll throw this in my bag. Like if we drive somewhere to go ride or do a race or whatever, I'll take this to clean my face after the race. That's how good this is. It's just a nice terry cloth towel, and that's what you want, with no extra stuff hanging on. It's not falling apart like this one. It doesn't have all these little. So this one is great for cleaning the chain and stuff, so you don't get stuff stuck in there like this one does. But basically, I use that to clean the chain. Let me put that over here for now. So all I do is I make simple green. Simple green you can get anywhere. I just put about a third of the bottle down here and put some water in there and fill it up. And spray that and wipe your frame. That's it. You can do that after every ride or whatever. Get all that little crud off the frame. It just keeps your bike looking good for very little effort. I do this after every ride. And I'll do a video about what I recommend. I don't wash my bikes very often. I do a wash if I ride in the rain, because I don't let the rain stop me from my workout. If I only have the time on Saturday to go ride and it starts to rain, I have the appropriate gear that I put on. I cover my shoes and I get a rain jacket and I head out. It's not going to stop me. The only thing that will stop me, thunder and lightning, because there's no point to it. Then I get on the trainer. I got a roller here, rollers that I can use. But just regular rain, I don't worry about it. Now, if it's rainy and very cold, say below 40 degrees, I'm not going out there either, because you run the risk of just maybe picking up something. It's just such a tough condition. When rainy and cold is a tough combination for the body. And so there's no point in going out. You know, a lot of times our group rides are canceled, but if it's not very cold, I still head out, you know, because Saturdays and Sundays are the time when I have the most time to get several hours in, and I can go and kind of forget my troubles and just ride my bike. But basically, you want to make sure your shifting's good. There are no surprises. For the most part, the main thing to check on the bikes, other than your tires, really is your shifting. Make sure your braking's good. You don't have any problems with your wheels wobbling. You know, you spin that and you look between your brakes. Those are little things. But these are things that you should do every day anyway, after every ride. You just check real quickly. That's what I do. So I'll do a video for that. But anyway, if you do that after every ride, then Friday there's not much to do. I'm just doing this today for this video because all my bikes are in good condition before I hang them up. If they have an issue, they on the stand. They stay on the stand until I get them resolved before I hang them up. I don't hang up a bike that has a problem that hasn't been addressed. For serious riders that don't work on their bikes, that want to maybe learn how to work on their bikes, I'm going to have maintenance videos on this channel. So make sure you use that, or get a bicycle maintenance book and learn about your bike, your components, learn how they work. You know, if you have a bike shop you go to currently, maybe stick around, watch the guys work on your bike, if possible, if you're waiting on it, and try to learn how these things work. Because when you're out there on your own, you need to know how it works, just in case something goes wrong, and you'll be able to resolve it yourself. So anyway, just make sure that you show up at the group rides with your bike in working order. It minimizes surprise issues, and you'll be able to ride without problems. If you do this, you don't ever need to take your bike to the bike shop before you do a big ride. Let's say if you do like the MS 150 and say get your bike. If you check your bike all the time anyway, treat every ride like it's an MS 150. Because if you're going 20, 30 miles from home, you want to be able to get back. Your bike needs to be reliable. You're going to be riding it. It should always be in tip-top condition. And that's the thing. So serious riders always keep their bikes in working order so that they get on the bike, they got a minimal amount of time for a workout, they get their workout to get home. That's it. They don't have time for mechanicals. There's a time to work on the bike and there's a time to work out. So if you keep up with it, you don't have to worry about it.